The narrative begins with the introduction of a world, where mysterious towers had appeared, 18 years ago, bringing forth gates, from which monsters emerged. People who awakened supernatural abilities, known as players, dominated the economy. We are introduced to our hero, who was not chosen, and was delivering food. While on his scooter, Kim gazes at a player's poster, envying their abilities. Someone behind him tells him to move, to which Kim apologizes. The scene shifts to his home, where he finds mail filled with medical and school-related letters. Disappointed, he goes inside, greeted by his sister still awake, doing homework. She surprises him with a birthday cake, and as he's about to read the letters, he discovers a player invitation. Excited, Kim yells that he's a player. The scene shifts to the player association, where Kim stands in front and is welcomed by an employee. She instructs him to say, "Info tab," revealing his skill menu. The employee is shocked at the sight of an unknown skill. As Kim turns, he sees the famous player Seoku Yu, who offers to guide him. They approach the portal to enter the tower, and inside, Kim notices numerous monsters on the first floor. Seoku explains the complications in spawn times and takes out a knife to illustrate. He mentions the 100 Goblin test, designed to assess a player's potential. 5 years later, Kim is shown fighting a goblin, frustrated that he hasn't leveled up from level 1. As they finish slaying the goblins, his clients thanked him for guiding them. He then inquired if they had leveled up, and mentioned that leveling up in the beginning is relatively easy. After bidding them farewell, and promising to see them on the second floor, his clients began discussing about him, and the rumors about him. They speculated that he was a unique ability retainer and the lowest ranking among all players. They referred to him with a nickname, the dysfunctional leveling player. Meanwhile, DQ found himself under a tree, his secret spot where a goblin spawned once a day. Though he intended to silently eliminate the goblin, it noticed him, leading to a brawl. DQ admitted it would be a challenging fight, taking him an hour to defeat the single goblin. Later, in the association corridor, he encountered Tayo, who apologized and left the scene. DQ entered the room, which Tayo came from, and learned from Taishik that Tayo's clients would now be under Tayo's guidance. The news on the nearby TV announced the Angela Guild would clear the 75th floor. Turning off the TV, DQ received money from Taishik, who also informed him about a new job request. The scene transitioned to Gikyu meeting his new client, Seonpil, who turned out to be Seoku's cousin. Gikyu explained the tutorial floor, and as they set up camp, Gikyu reassured them, stating that everything would be fine as long as they avoided encountering a guardian. He explained that guardians were the boss monsters of each floor. Gikyu advised them not to worry, mentioning that guardians on lower floors were usually taken down quickly. Meanwhile, at the intersection between the forest and wilderness, a goblin ran for its life, pursued by what seemed to be a guardian. As the day progresses, we find ourselves on the second day of the tutorial floor. The hero's group is engaged in a battle with goblins, and the client remarks that although the goblins appear large, they are not much of a challenge. Grateful for Kim's guidance in choosing safe routes, the group continues the fight. The scene then shifts from the battlefield to Seonpil, who is writing in his diary. He contemplates the possibility of eventually writing an autobiography. Meanwhile, the group discusses the prospect of reaching the 5th floor, if they successfully navigate through tomorrow's challenges. They engage in conversation about various jobs, while our hero stands alone near the fire, gazing at the sky and murmuring about the 5th floor. The next day, they enter the 4th floor, and Kim introduces the concept, where monsters will come in groups with slightly increased strength. As the group battles the monsters, Kim notices dust clouds, and warns them that it's not a good sign. He instructs them to wrap up quickly. One small mistake can lead to the annihilation of the party. Just as Kim expects, the Guardian appears. He throws a smoke screen and instructs everybody to run. Kim claims he knows a safe place, and heads inside a cave. He explains that the creature they encountered was the Guardian of the 4th floor. They discover that one member isn't waking up, and is suspected to be poisoned by a goblin. Kim begins searching for an antidote in his bag, but realizes it's not there. Despite protests, Kim insists he will go outside to retrieve the antidote, stating he'll be fine as long as he avoids the Guardian. However, as he speaks, the Guardian reappears and takes a big swing at him. Kim deploys another smoke screen, and fires a flare gun as he runs for his life. He finds himself before the entrance to the 5th floor, admitting he has run into a dead end. Undeterred, he opens the gate, saying, "Let's have a look." A notification flashed across the screen, as the protagonist entered the first test room, confirming player information and revealing the discovery of an unconfirmed ability. Meeting the conditions, the protagonist's first task was to kill a goat. The notice declared that the test was passed, and the protagonist's job was determined. Kim, a fellow participant, cynically remarked that he entered the challenge, just to face a goat. Suddenly, a black foam engulfed the protagonist. Kim exclaimed, "What the hell?" While someone asked, "Are you my master?" The voice continued, stating that the protagonist, who couldn't answer a simple question, was now its master. And the notice revealed that Ego had requested to link with the protagonist. The protagonist accepted, and the notice prompted him to choose a name for Ego. The scene shifted, and our hero wakes up in a hospital bed. As he entered the gate, rumors circulated about him, and everyone started talking. His new nickname became Tutorial Slaughterer. In another scene, Kim faced a horde of minions alone, effortlessly dispatching each one. The protagonist named the connected entity Lu, and Lu responded with approval. Kim's stats starts to increase and level up, as he embraced the powers bestowed upon him. In a flashback, Kim and Luo's links are shown. Kim is excited as his info tab changes for the first time, eagerly saying, "Link up." He becomes embarrassed when it doesn't work and questions how to use the device. He mentions giving it the bratty name, Luo. Suddenly, he notices that Luo has been summoned in a formless state, and ingredients for Luo's materialization will be automatically absorbed. Luo begins absorbing, and Kim's bag starts dragging him along. Panicking, Kim holds onto his bag, revealing that its contents are worth up to 5 million. As the absorption continues, Luo takes the form of a sword. Kim questions if it's really Luo. The scene transitions to Kim conversing with Taeshik. Taeshik warns him not to enter certain gates due to something strange happening inside. Kim walks out of the associations, saying he can't afford to take as he is burdened with loans. Kim sits in a cafe with a companion, discussing an upcoming expedition. Once they finish their conversation, they agree to meet at Guri Station in 2 days. Kim explains the 2 types of gates: one-time use gates, and gates for repetitive use. The scene then shifts to inside the gate as the expedition party advances. Someone in the party calls for everyone to hold their positions, announcing that the enemies are approaching. They engage in battle and easily overwhelm the adversaries, with Kim playing a significant role. The party members compliment Kim, who nervously stands in front of the party leader. They eventually reach the boss room, where the party leader provides information about the boss. The party members act knowledgeable, urging everyone not to waste time. The party leader fires an arrow towards the boss to provoke it, and the boss responds with a rampage. The tanker takes on the boss, buying time for Kim. As the moment arrives for Kim to act, he charges at the boss with Luo. A notice appears, indicating that the synchronization rate has increased. Kim delivers a single, powerful slash, instantly defeating the boss. Experience points are allocated, marking a successful conclusion to the battle.